IO. That's a good secure in this tournament. Not a lot of teams let that one get through, guys.
Yeah, I mean, largely it's because some of the teams who we've seen it banned against are like really well known for their IO. If you look at Secret with Pile Die, you look at Team Liquid with GH. DC, not quite as well known for their IO. Misery can play it pretty decently, but it's not like a hero that you think reversing DC, we're going to ban IO.
I suppose so, but I mean, we've seen something like this before, Jack, where something comes out early, we don't really know what's going on, and then the team has been practicing a secret draft for a bit. You think there's any secret IO drafts out there? Jungle IO, will we see it again, Jack?
I'd love to see something like that, but I think the reason IO often gives trouble, I think, to some Chinese teams, or for example, Wings will ban it outright, it changes the balance of a lot of lanes potentially very quickly, and enables certain duels that you otherwise normally wouldn't run. It enables you to protect your mid if you need to, and it changes fights, and the mobility aspect of it is really important. And again, DC may be more of a precision team than VGJ are, so I think this could really change things in their favor in the early game.
Sand King and Warlock, two very defensive support heroes, great with that AoE kind of stun and damage, but at the same time, although Sand King has been coveted by a lot of teams, I haven't been too impressed with him in this tournament. I mean, he does have the ability to get in the back lane against heroes like Lone Druid, but I don't know, guys. I don't know if that's the strongest hero.
Most of the times when we've seen a Sand King shine this tournament is when there was a high ground defense, so you're already behind, you already have to try to hold on, and Sand King is great for that. You can Epi in, make sure you have another try, but that's a bit of a problem because by that time you're already on the losing side. You want to have a hero that will put you on the winning side.
They're big on the team fight. That's the main thing here. You got, I mean, two massive ultimates in Chaotic Offering and Epicenter. Fatal Bonds amps up all that damage, and I think they see the IO and they're thinking, okay, this relocate in team fight is going to be perhaps a component of DC's draft. How do we beat that? Let's get team fight.
Right, and they don't really waste that much by securing a Warlock or a Sand King, whereas if they really want to counter the IO, pick up a Disruptor, they leave themselves open a little bit. And Bad Rider is going to be picked up from DC.
So obviously Warlock is something that VGJ has liked to begin with. Sand King, I'll be interested to see what position he plays. We've seen FY and some other players take more traditional off-lane 3-position heroes and play them as the 4. We saw the Slardar, which is banned out obviously this game. And speaking of lanes and how those things change with IO and Bat Rider, we saw this a couple times, I think against Newbie one game, it's just this disgusting lane combination that's very difficult to deal with.
Yeah, and the IO doesn't even have to start with the Bat. He can start mid lane and just go bottom when Bat's like level 3, and suddenly this Bat's got Napalm Sack on you. You think you're fine, but this IO tethers in with him and gives him an extra boost to his movement speed, his damage output.
Yep, a slippery hero to catch anyway, and then the added movement speed damage. Not a good combination for facing up against that. You're going to see the Ember Spirit banned down. Surprising. And a Weaver.
Some of the more elusive cores, I mean, they've got a lasso, but Weaver can just go first. If you're reversing Bat, you're pretty happy as a Weaver. The 1v1 matchup is good, and also the Linken's build. Bat doesn't deal well with Linken's Spheres. Doesn't have good ways to break it. You want to save your force to get out. If you have to force to break it, you're generally going to struggle to get the pull off as well. So
it's a great hero against IO as well.
And if you are playing it as a support, not only can you rotate around, but you can kind of cancel the Bat Rider initiation and turn back the clock. So.
Oh yeah. That Scepter on Weaver against Bat Rider. Got rid of that garbage. Anyway.
And it could go late, so it's always scary. Indeed, in games that have the threat of that. So last game, DC compared to VGJ lacked that team fight, and as you already pointed out, there's a lot of team fight coming out from VGJ. IO and Bat Rider, they're great at fighting, but is it enough team fight?
No.
Like, is it something that you see that they're gonna fix?
They don't want to either. Or they can take the approach like get some good split pushing carries, maybe focus more on being able to have a constant fight around those cooldowns of Epicenter Warlock. Anytime Warlock rocks on cooldown, you want to maybe have higher uptime and be able to push towers. Lasso's a very short cooldown compared to what the Warlock and Sand King have, so I think DC may take that approach. If they don't think they can match up the team fight, you get a split pushing carry and you get heroes that can take advantage of those long cooldowns.
And thinking just that right there, Slark banned out, Ember Spirit banned out, heroes that can kind of keep the lanes pushed a little bit and be very elusive to deal with. But again, I feel like DC maybe once more in this draft going for more of a finesse approach, which we saw last game. Depends more heavily in some respects on their execution. If things look really good, you see them pick teams apart sometimes methodically. If not, if they're not in the greatest form, then it could be very tough for them. VGJ maybe once again looking to simplify things in this draft.
Yeah, they haven't done anything flashy or crazy with their drafts. It's always just been tried and true for the most part. Give ROTK a good initiator, put Freeze on like a good snowballing mid, aggressive on a aggressive carry hero, and then recipe for success. So, feel like no need to change it. They get the jug. I want to say maybe more likely a carry jug this time around, given that last game it was mid largely for the laning matchup. But again, you don't know what DC's picking. You may find that jug does end up with a good matchup mid.
With the Juggernaut pickup as well, is there still somewhere a threat of the ROTK Magnus?
5 seconds
Yeah,
remaining.
there's a threat of it, but I think it's less likely. I don't like the Magnus with the Sand King quite as much. Just feel like the two heroes have a lot of overlap in what they do. You're against a Rubik now, so there's the spell steal. Very good Rubik game. Dealing any of Jug spells, the Warlock Rock, the Sand King Burrow Strike, fantastic as a Rubik.
I think the synergy with the Magnus so far in this draft, as God's pointed out, is a little bit less pronounced as it was in the last draft. You had obviously the vehicle for Lifestealer who can instantly blow up anyone that you've RP'd. You had the Slardar who makes anyone that has been RP'd very easy to blow up. In this case, not so much because you've got other big ults to pair with that Magnus, and so maybe a little bit too much time or too much precise coordination to be able to land that in time to deal killing blow damage. And obviously, you saw last game there's an RP into the Omni Slash from Juggernaut that wasn't able to get the Ember Spirit in time. That has to be, the windows for executing that are a little bit less, so maybe Magnus not as good of a fit here.
Yeah, I would like to see a little bit more aggression coming out from VGJ. I mean, again, I feel like they're picking around that Wisp threat, being kind of defensive right now, and defense is great, but without any good offense and ways to kill anybody, maybe not so great. So hopefully we see a little bit of push, a little bit of aggression. Anybody got any ideas?
There is still Underlord and Disruptor, two heroes that they've picked a lot and that are still available right now and are decent against heroes like Wisp and Bat Rider. If they choose to, not with this pick, but if they choose to go with that direction with Underlord, I think they've had an issue where they don't have necessarily the push to pair with that mid-game to force you to fight into the Underlord, so maybe they'd have to change that this game. But in this case, with this draft, maybe not.
There we go. Well, there's the aggression I was looking for. Storm Spirit, nice way to get on top of the IO and the Rubik, kind of blow them up before they can really do anything.
They do reveal it now. They could have saved it for their final pick. They had the 10th pick. Perhaps worried about it getting banned is kind of what probably my immediate thought there is, but...
Hey!
IO Tiny.
Oh, hey!
There's the split push. This is not like a team fighting type lineup. They're looking to split push. They're looking to play like the late game carry game, maybe more of a gank heavy lineup. You've got Bat Rider to find pickoffs, IO Tiny to relocate in. DC do not have much interest in just trying to straight up 5v5 VGJ. They're going to look to play a much more spread apart game around the map. Use the full map rather than just one lane and meet VGJ directly.
Well, that is something that VGJ right now can abuse as well in their last pick, surely.
Yeah, and the Storm is really good against that playstyle because if you're split apart trying to split push and find pickoffs, Storm can ideally isolate some of those heroes. I think that was the key thing with the Storm is that VGJ lack catch, and you want to have like a really good catching hero to pair with the Sand King to punish the split push, which DC want to go for. So I like the Storm for that reason.
5 seconds remaining.
Interesting Ursa ban out there. We've been talking a lot of smack about Ursa over the last couple of days, but VG says, you know what? It is actually scary in DC's hands, so
yeah,
getting rid of it.
One of Weeha's best heroes, not so much maybe seen in the competitive play, but in pubs. He's played this hero a ton in the mid lane. So they're perhaps worried about that coming out, although with the ban with a Tiny there, I think it'd be more likely a carrier to fit in. So
sure.
Not sure exactly what they have in mind with that, but definitely is a hero I've seen banned a lot against Weeha for DC.
All right, well, last ban coming out here, boys. Anybody that could really mess up this combo?
It really depends on what they're looking for and what that Sand King is going to do. If we're thinking it's going to be an ROTK Sand King, are we?
Leaning that way myself.
Okay.
Slightly. I'm not sure what FY's hero would be otherwise, I guess.
Well, he likes the more aggressive supports.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he plays much Earth Spirit Jack. Like, that's like the other, like, obvious, like, 4-position, aggressive, chaotic hero that stands out, but...
He has been playing some of that lately. In fact,
Okay.
they were talking about it outside during the break, I think when they were watching the TNC game. And
Oh, really?
Like, hey, FY, you know, is this...
How about some of that,
Is this part of your toolkit?
yeah. FY, can you do this?
Hey, an anti-mage. All right. Now that's a blast from the past from DC.
Yeah.
We used to see that a lot coming out from that team.
AM versus Storm, they're playing the late game, they're playing the split push. Tiny's going to be the space creating, probably rush a blink, just go around, go for kills, try and create space for AM to farm, split push, and of course AM, the big counter to the Storm Spirit.
Oh,
the
dog!
RTK Doom.
That's the AM counter in some ways.
Yeah.
Got it. Is it the AM counter, though, if he can pick up an Agnum Scepter? I mean, times are different.
Even without it, you can still Doom him in, like, for a ganking, as a ganking option, but yes. With the Ags, even more so. I'm liking we're seeing a Doom.
Hey, so RTK Doom, is it going to happen? Are they going to do it? Are they going to 2-0 DC? Is it going to be a 2-0 series?
AM is not a very good hero in this current patch. This is like an AM game, though, but
Yeah.
it's still it's like the right game for the hero, but it's still not the right patch for the hero. So I have
Okay.
my doubts about the Anti-Mage. I'm gonna slightly lean towards VGJ.
What about you, Jack?
I think VGJ's, the feel of their lineup has changed a little bit. I don't think they're as straightforwardly aggressive as their previous lineup. And I don't know if this positional kind of split push style really fits them well. I feel like DC, once again, has a bit of an edge in the draft. I think DC's going to take this one, actually.
Oh, this is rough. I've been waiting for a Doom for so long. Oh, I really thought this would be... all right, screw it. I'll go with the Doom. I love you, Doomy. You can do it.
Okay, we're going to find out if the Doom can do it and if we will see a game 3 or not. It is over to Lyrical and Merlini.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back. We got Moon on his Bat Rider. We got ROTK on his Doom. Freeze is playing Storm Spirit. Everybody's got the heroes that they want. Merlini, how you feeling about the draft?
Does Rezo want to play Anti-Mage? Does any carry want to play Anti-Mage in this patch? I guess in this game, yeah. Yeah, you do. Deceptor is so good in this game. Oh my goodness. If you can like reflect Omni. Wait, what happens if you reflect Omni?
You start Omni Slashing, I would imagine then. Would be
sounds
the way
great.
it works, like the Lotus Orb. So Anti-Mage Omni Slashing. You think he is going to go for the Aghanims in this one?
I think you have to. It's so good here. Storm pulls himself, Orchids himself, Doom dooms himself. Like, how are you actually going to get rid of it? You don't have any good way to pop it. Fatal Bonds? You really want to use Fatal Bonds? Shadow Word's probably the best.
Yeah,
But it's not easy to cast it on an Anti-Mage.
Maybe itemization, you think about going back for a 4-step or something, but certainly at the start, they're not going to have an answer for it. And, well, we get the bounty cam to start it all off, and it looks like they're going to move in and contest Vici J, as they'll be able to take away a bounty rune. But
It's an aggro lane.
do you think that this is, that was what I was wondering, is like, this is the main problem with Anti-Mage, right? You just aggro lane him, and he can't really get the farm he needs.
Yeah, he does not have a good support in his own. Wisp is not your babysit versus tri-lane support. He is going to get rocked in that lane. I said rock as I looked at Tiny. I didn't mean that. I apologize to everyone.
I don't think you should. Puns are definitely to be benefit in this one. As it looks like the Weehaw without the IO in the mid lane, at least to start against this.
I actually think Tiny is playable in the mid lane without a IO, and with the IO, it's definitely playable. So he already, the creep equilibrium's already going in his favor. There's 4 creeps still left alive for Radiant, 2 for him, so it's going to stand on his cliff, which is going to be good for the next couple of minutes.
Yeah. Well, and up here in the top lane, we've talked about how dangerous this lane could be. Is it dangerous all the way at the start at level 1?
Anti-Mage should not die in this lane. You just blink out. They don't have enough lockdown for him. Spin is okay, but they just need to right-click him down and limit the supports from pulling, which does not look like they are able to pull right now because the spawn is blocked. Misery / Saksa did miss the D ward, and this should be a pretty easy lane for Moon, I think. I don't really think Doom can threaten you that much.
Maybe go off onto the side, pick up a creep or 2, and that allows you to have a bit more out spam against the Bat Rider. But I guess the other idea is maybe picking up a Purge creep. Could that be one of the ways to make it work for him in his favor?
It's so much mana restrictive. Early in the game?
Yeah.
Too expensive.
Okay.
You just get stick to deal with it.
Well, up in the top lane so far, the Anti-Mage has sort of run into a lot of issues that we talked about. 3-0, so his farm is going to be pretty heavily hampered. But we haven't really seen any great chance for a kill yet either. Is there like a certain level where things start to get a little bit more scary in this lane?
It's more the levels of the supports. If the supports can't get levels, they're going to have a really hard time going into team fights. Because, remember, it's an anti-mage game. It's usually a 4-on-5 situation. And if 2 of your 4 are low levels and one of them is a wisp, you might be in a lot of trouble. So as long as they, you want to get like level 6 at like, let's say 9 minutes is Rubik here. Maybe around a little bit later for the IO, I think, in this situation. But you definitely do not want to die as supports in this lane. It's a very defensive lane. Don't die, and that's kind of all you can ask for here.
Feels like the name of this game, just in general for DC, is going to be playing as much keep away as possible. Even once the anti-mage starts to get that farm up and all, he's certainly not a hero that wants to get incredibly aggressive traditionally. Does that change at all with some of the new items and builds we've been seeing with anti-mage?
He could go for a Vanguard first build, but it doesn't actually look like he's doing that because he does have the Pormian Shield first. I have seen another build, the Helm of Dom Maelstrom build, but I really just do not like that build in general. I think if you want to go Helm of Dom Maelstrom, just pick a different hero. Yeah. Like, anti-mage offers a lot with the Battle Fury in terms of a straight farm potential. Helm of Dom is like okay, but it's also not that great versus the Doom.
I feel like didn't we see an Echo Saber anti-mage?
Yeah, but that's not that great.
No. Okay. Okay, so no, that's not the way to go for him.
No, I think it's just Battle Fury, Manta, Vlad's optional with a Scepter afterwards, I think is the play.
Okay.
Early ring and lane, turn that into a Vlad's easily if you want. You can also turn it into a Helmet Dominator. I still don't see anything on his quick buy, so kind of unsure of where he's going for. But I would be a little bit surprised for him to go Helmet Dom this game.
Well, taking a look at the CS across all the lanes, Vici just dominate.
Look, AM's is close to Juggernauts, though.
Okay,
so
that's
fine. And Tiny's ahead of the Storm, so
maybe not quite
actually pretty decent for them. Oh, top room, we see a little bit of contest. There will be a DD picked up by Storm. Scary for Wii.
It's going to be a little bit tough for him. It does look like FY taking a good bit of damage here. Needs to be careful. Resolution, certainly nobody to trifle with either. And the Blade Fury used, that will just be a blink away by Rezo.
That's bad. That's bad for them. You can see the momentum's already shifted to the anti-mage being really strong. He has enough regen to survive the early harass, and then he can just burn people's mana. If Jug tries to spin, you just blink away, and he loses even more mana. And a Jug without mana is not very scary in lane.
Yeah, definitely it's not something to mess with there. You also see that actually Vici have sort of moved off across the rest of the map, and Fenrir over in the jungle, FY as well is going to be moving in towards mid. It feels like they've sort of lost that aggressive edge that they could have had in the top lane.
Yeah, they have. There is not really an edge anymore.
Oh my god, and already starting to drop low, looking for the kill. Can they get it? They do draw first blood. Misery picking that one up. They're able to find the Burrow Strike, trying to find the kill onto AM. The Caustic is going to pop in a second. It's going to pop the salve, though, trying to stay alive. Rezo so slow now and is going to be able to blink out and away. Oh man, by the skin of his teeth.
Nice. Caustic I thought was going to kill him, but you know, he prepared for the lane with a lot of regen too. I do like that from him too. Sometimes you'll see like AM's going to lane like with a stout or without a stout and just a quelling blade, but you know, he's kind of prepared for the worst in that situation. Wow, Moon is going in. That's ambitious.
Incredibly deep. They drop the Stonen going to be able to run him down. Freeze very low, is going to die. So Weeha drops. But they take down the Storm Spirit. That was an intense dive.
That was a very intense dive. They really want it. Look at Storm's experience. He is like 5% left until level 6.
Yeah. So great timing. Of course, that's the timing you're always going to try and gank the Storm Spirit, and maybe just a little bit worried that he was going to get out of control later. They have the great answer in the anti-mage for him in the late game, but that also depends upon being able to break through his eventual Lincolns that you would imagine he's going to go for later on down the line.
Yeah, I think Tiny's pretty good versus him too, because he has a lot of burst to be able to nail him, especially if he goes for a blink first. Still not sure what you go for on Tiny here, or what he's going for rather. Usually you'll see blink first because they need to make plays without the anti-mage.
Yeah. Sometimes Echo Saber has been one of the other pickups.
Yeah, I like Echo Saber a lot too, but he already has that attack speed with the Wisp.
Oh, movement in now. Fenrir going to get jumped upon. They can just try and run him down, although now with the Juggernaut in the area as well, it makes this a little bit scarier. A lot of heals. They take down the healing ward, and Fenrir, this is just the classic Moon build. He's going for the Bracer Windlace.
Yeah, you're getting a lot of damage and kills in without your lasso too, so that's extremely good. They're actually limiting the support levels onto the side of Vici, and now they've kind of completely ditched top lane. It's just Doom up here now, and yeah, they have some kill potential once he gets level 6.
Oh my god, Moon going in again. This guy is not afraid. With the IO there as well, Fenrir coming in, but there is no answer. Aggressive. They just run him down, and this is the Moon Meander Classic. Now Fenrir turned upon as well. Who cares about taking towers? FY is going to try and turn this back around. They also have Freeze in the area. Tries to tether away, but isn't going to be enough. Now Misery in a bit of trouble. Tries to push him back. That's the slow, the Shadow Word dealing DOT, and that's going to kill him off. But Moon, large and in charge, is just being a menace here. And, well, he forces back Freeze even.
Oh my god, his Batrider is so godly. What on earth?
Oh, and now Freeze also going to die. The rotation in from Weeha. They did finally kill off, well, Fenrir again with Moon Meander.
Okay, Batrider Wisp is just crazy.
What is this?
He is, like, all these small items added up to him.
Oh, he gets him down to the neutral. All right. That neutral's rooting for VGJ here.
Still, he's a big bounty. Yeah. And he already completed his drums before he died. And Rezo killed ROTK.
This game is insane. I don't know what to expect next. We're 8 minutes in, 11 kills across the game, and it's the anti-mage team that's finding more of these kills.
Yeah, I really underestimated the potential of the Batrider. He did have a pretty easy one-on-one situation in the Doom, but he went mid, he killed the Storm Spirit without dying, and he went bottom, he killed the Warlock, and then he just killed like 4 more heroes, and that was pretty much just the Wisp and the Batrider. I really underestimated their 4 and 5 potential with kind of just the Batrider just going out of control.
Yeah, and maybe some of it also is this Doom pick, not their traditional. Oh, Freeze in the mid lane, though. They're going to be able to try and run him down. Toss, and well, that's going to be another kill onto Freeze. But the Doom, not sort of that natural hero that would be able to rotate in and make a ton happen necessarily.
Especially if you go for the Max Devour build, which is becoming increasingly more common since his last talent change to give him a lot of Devour bonus gold at level 10.
Sand King, I mean, in the support role, it's not as potent as it would be if he was playing it the straight up offlane. But nonetheless, we're still sitting in this situation where you have a great amount of lockdown for the anti-mage in the late game with the Doom. How do you think VGJ are feeling about their chances? Do they just need to sort of hold on?
Holding on is bad because anti-mage will out-farm you. Okay. You have to be able to respond to the Batrider. You can't just let him fly and just burn you to death everywhere on the map without responding. You have to be able to kill him. They do have the Doom online for ROTK, so that's kind of the first step. You can try and pressure the anti-mage with the Blink Dagger, or with the Doom, but, I mean, Moon's already in there. Look at him. He's just, like, he's running past the tower.
Oh, Dust used. Well, the Burrow Strike's going to keep him away. They drop the Doom now onto Moon, and, well, dropping the Rock as well. Every damn thing thrown now. They're going to toss back and forward the Juggernaut. That is going to be another kill as Weeha barely TPing out of that one.
That's a Rock and a Doom for one Batrider. He's actually going for Aether Lens in his quick buy too after the Tranquil Drums. It's unusual.
Now this is sort of, it feels like it's always been his type of hero that he plays a little bit differently from others. And normally the answer of the drums was like, because you don't have the burst damage to kill, that's why you go for it. But in this game, they do still have the burst damage. I guess he just really likes to play that style as Misery. Not going to get ran down.
I don't think I've ever seen that stolen. Rubik has Hurl Boulder.
All right, pulling back in now, and well, this is going to be a good bit of damage. Burrow Strike from Misery, as well as the no field. A great combo. They take down the Jug. Aggressive, in trouble, as is ROTK, pulling him in. Another kill going their way. 2 dead. Vici J just do not have the answer.
They keep fighting into the Batrider, and they did kill him that one time, but these are like, great, you guys have no ultimates. Let's keep this train rolling.
Batrider, they're not afraid. They are going to be in a little bit of trouble now with 3 heroes here. Moon might have finally overstepped his boundaries.
Okay, he is one of the most aggressive offlaners, undoubtedly.
Am, in the meantime, just going to back out of there, takes down the tower, and now is going to be building into, what's his item build, do you think, in this game after the Battle Fury?
Battle Fury, Manta, Scepter.
Okay, just the same thing every time.
Same thing. Sometimes you go Vlads, but I don't think they need the Vlads because you have the Wisp if you really need the sustain. And I think Scepter is that important in this game.
Well, ROTK might be that shining light at the end that they're going to need. I mean, he's the most farmed hero on the Vici J lineup. The Juggernaut and the Storm have been kind of hampered in, but they do sort of, again, have that Sand King later on when he eventually gets his Blink Dagger as well to help with the fights.
Eventually.
Yeah, the late game. It's a rough one. No lying about that.
They don't have any time because Moon is just everywhere. Dies, whatever. 3 heroes were on him, just goes back top and just keeps pressuring people over and over and over again and just makes them come to him.
And smoking under a ward, certainly not what they need to pull themselves back into this one. This game looking a lot better for DC.
So where are they trying to go? Looks like 3 people wrapped down on bottom. Rezo's parked in lane, but are they really going to be able to jump him? They have to kind of hurl Boulder / doom him from the fog, but Rezo's already out. He is under Observer Ward, though. That is a very strange Observer Ward.
Yeah, definitely. Not one that you would normally see or get dewarded. But yeah, obviously smoking underneath the ward, there was no way that he was going to stick around there. Well, maybe.
You don't expect him to have vision over here. You'd have to jump him with freeze. He only has level 1 Electric Vortex, however, so that would be a very difficult kill.
In the meantime, DC just going to push in the mid lane. So they're comfortable with this. They don't really have a creep wave to pressure the bottom lane as of yet. Looks like Jug just going to come in to try and defend for the moment. Oh, they found Freeze again. Avatos, he's gone. They dropped the rock a little bit too late, though, and, well, doomed up Batrider is going to be dropped very low. They get the relocate out, though, and now Weeha, well, they're still taking damage in the fountain from this one. Trying to get out and away is they don't have Vici.
They're coming back.
Are they really going
for this? They are coming back, yeah, definitely. And they just run away.
Oh, the Sand King Burrow Strike, not quite there. Misery turns it back against him. Let me show you how to do that one. Fatal Bonds, well, still turned there as Weeha is dropped low, and Moon Meander, they pull back in one. Anti-Mage has shown up as well. Everybody in the area trying to fight this down, and Fenrir going to get gone upon as well. The sole survivor in this engagement is going to be the Juggernaut, who is finally going to be pulled back in and killed. Vici J just getting rolled over on right now.
The Wisp is ridiculously strong. He's enabled Moon to make that dive on 2-1 bottom. He saved Moon from dying there because of the Doom. He healed up Tiny so he can go in 3-4 times with his combo that entire fight. And net worth, advantage, momentum, everything going DC's way this game.
Feels like they have definitely come together with a strong draft here.
Yeah, they need the Storm to be able to jump.
Oh, God, Freeze. This is not the way to go. Please, no. The right clicks, the kill. He stole Vortex as well. Misery putting on a show in this one.
That's rough. They can't get to the Wisp. Normally, you're like, okay, we need to kill the Wisp so that we can kill everyone else. But they cannot. They can't kill the Wisp.
Oh, my God. And Jug, well, trying to get away from this one. Doesn't look like Moon is wanting to use that first Blink Dagger. Instead, they're going to relocate down bottom, and Weeha throws his buddy in there. Going to just be able to bring down Fenrir. It's a feed train at this point.
Yeah, feed train is correct. This is before Anti-Mage's Battle Fury.
It just feels like it's a good answer to the type of games that Vici J has been playing, which is the 5-man group up lineup, which granted isn't necessarily what this lineup is from Vici J completely, but pull them across the map and basically come online before they're capable of doing anything.
Yeah, the Wisp was a nice touch to their draft. It allows them to fight like way earlier than you would be normally. Like they've been fighting since 6-7 minutes into the game, when you normally expect the anti-mage lineup to fight 20-25 minutes into the game. It's not like a game like Keep Away. I think they completely reversed gears from game number 1 and went with, like, it seems like it's a late game lineup with a anti-mage, but that's just insurance in case the early game goes poorly, which it certainly did not because of the Wisp and Bat.
Well, and Roshan could be on the menu pretty soon, depending upon how DC want to play this. But as you mentioned, they have that late game insurance. There's no need to really push anything too heavily.
At least he went Blink instead of Aether on the Bat. I was like, I mean, Aether's a good item on him, but Blink is just imperative.
Oh, ROTK, they're also in the area with aggressive.
They already scouted him out, so yep.
I mean, DC could think about coming in on this. They have relocate in a second, I believe.
They need more people.
They need. There's the jump in. Oh, Sandstorm. Good reaction time there by Misery. He's still taking the DOT, and there's the relocate in. They drop the rock. They are going to lose Misery off of this, but still a lot of damage coming in. And, well, they might end up losing the Batrider. They might end up losing every damn person.
Oh,
DC.
My God. That was very, very costly for them. I'm not sure why Wisp relocated in such an aggressive position. He got epicentered after the rock, and that's kind of your worst nightmare going. I mean, now the anti-mage pick is like, good thing we have an anti-mage, but that was a lot of ground to give up there. You can't have the Wisp die that early. Also, if the Wisp relocates in, you can't actually save anyone with the Doom. So maybe like they could have like gone on the Doom a little bit earlier, but Roop, they wanted him to go on the Roop, but at the same time, is that really a good idea? He's just sitting there with Sandstorm, and he's just going to die. And then you don't have, like, you lose your support immediately. Your Wisp is going to die too because you relocated in a very precarious position, and then you don't have your anti-mage there for your fight. So you're fighting, like, what, 2v5 pretty much?
I think it was one of those situations where you feel like you're so far ahead that you can kind of do whatever you want, but not ended up working out for them. Now, you do still have, as you mentioned, the anti-mage who's getting further and further ahead. He's got his Battle Fury Yasha now online, building towards that Manta style.
Yep.
Maybe that's going to have to be the saving grace. Can they still play aggressive, though, with the IO relocates?
If they can get good lassos with good vision. They need to go for kills on the split pushers like the Storm and the Juggernaut in particular, but they haven't really been split pushing all too much. The R2 heroes kind of just sitting there, Doom and Sand King, kind of waiting for an anti-mage trap perhaps, but that is not going to happen.
ROTK, maybe. I don't know. They actually don't want to go on him. I thought that DC was trying to set something up there. They do have the setup down on the bottom lane, and this is who they're going to go on. Freeze gets lassoed. The right clicks as well as the avalanche comes through for Weehaw.
Yep, that's your lasso relocate combination in effect. And Storm Spirit, his net worth is going to be very limited because of this constant threat. Like, you want to split push lane, you're very likely going to die. Like, it doesn't even require necessarily the Batrider to be there. Like, anti-mage plus Tiny can kill the Storm too, for example. So he almost has a Manta style, just what, 1,000-ish more gold. And they're in a pretty good spot. Once they get the Manta on him, you can actually fight the Doom and the Storm Spirit without really worrying about dying too much. Doom did go for a very greedy build. Blink, Midas. Yeah. Oh, he actually has plate mail too, man. I guess that Doom talent is actually really good.
Getting quite farmed, certainly. You know, and just in terms of like the way that DC is setting up their farming rotations around the map, like Resolution farming the more dangerous areas, then you got IO Tiny to be ready to relocate, but they're farming from a safe spot. It's really just sort of allowed them to build up a bit of a lead just by virtue of the status quo of the game. Looks like now 10-19. They certainly gave away a pretty big advantage.
Yeah, if they didn't lose that fight, they would probably still be trying to fight a lot, but they know that, okay, well, we should just wait for anti-mage to get fat and then just fight 5-on-5.
Moon now, after picking up the drums and the blink to start, has gone back for the Ring of Region. Do you think that he might be one to go pick up? Okay, of course, Force Staff. Now trying to set up. This is looking eerily similar, but doesn't want to go for freeze this time.
I don't know what talents the Wisp is going to pick up. He has some really good talent at level 15 and 20. A lot of regen.
And of course, helping out the rest of the team with that. But it does look like Vici J smoked as DC are up here on the top side. It feels like this is not really going to be too productive, though. They're placing down a couple of good wards at the very least, getting set up possibly for a Roche fight a little bit further down the line.
Yeah, it'll be that time soon when Rezo can deal with Roche, and they sense the smoke. They have several wards on the side, and this tower looks like it's just going to be taken down for free.
Do you like the Battle Fury pickup for Juggernaut in this game?
What are his other options? He likes the Battle Fury a lot more than other Juggernauts, though. Even from his time in CDEC before, he picked up a Battle Fury far more often than a Juggernaut usually would. Yeah. I mean, there's not really that much to cleave. I guess maybe anti-mage illusions, but it's going to take him a while to get online. I guess he just wants to be able to trade farm for farm, but typically you'll just see Maelstrom earlier if you want to go farm for farm.
Io pretty close there. They almost got caught by the Doom, but not going to be the case. FY and the ROTK make the rotation over to the Shrine. Everybody from DC gets out, and like we were saying at the beginning of the broadcast, the keep away game continues.
But things will heat up pretty soon, though. I see him going for the Scepter next on the anti-mage, and I think that's something that they have to worry about. So we see another smoke coming out from Vici. They smoke close to their T2 tower and try and venture forth and
get an important kill. Resolution looks to be the target, perhaps.
Oh, no, they've actually gone instead over here to the side onto Misery, who stole Ball Lightning, and Al isn't going to be able to get away from that one. Resolution trying to blink away. FY still on his tail, but they won't be able to catch him. A little unfortunate there. Freeze going on the Rubik and not being able to kill off Rezo.
Yeah, very unfortunate for them. They do have eyes on him over here, but it's just very difficult for them to get to that side of the map, especially when Freeze has no mana and still no Bloodstone. 22 minutes in.
Yeah, it's been a rough go for him. Moon is actually more farmed than the Storm Spirit right now. And I guess that's something to sort of talk about a little bit. You do have the Bat Rider for that nice hard lockdown later on in the game, as well as the Tiny that you talked about. But do they need this Storm Spirit to get incredibly fat for them to win this game?
Definitely. You have to be able to annihilate the Wisp as a Storm. That's one of your main jobs. Just kill him immediately in the fight. Sand King can do it too, but usually Storm's the one because he has more ability, more vision, and generally more items to do so.
And Moon Meander here, you can see, just knows what he needs to do. This is his life now. Hang out in the trees, wait for somebody to go to the creeps, and well, the rest of the team is actually kind of grouping up around that area as well.
Yeah, they're preparing for a 5-on-5 right now, just in case they're baiting out or relocate on the bottom lane. But Vici are not interested in farming that side of the map, knowing what traps may await.
I mean, with the AM already having the Manta style up and online, could they go for some type of a push here and just sort of bait out?
Just wait for Scepter.
Okay.
Scepter, how do you actually kill him once you get Scepter, though? I think it's very, very, very powerful in this matchup, and it's also difficult because it's not super visible as to when the cooldown is up. So oftentimes you'll mistakenly cast spells onto the Scepter without, it's not an item that you see very often. Firstly, you don't see anti-mage that often. Secondly, you don't see Scepter that often, and it's a very new thing too. Yeah. So do you know the cooldown of it? Is it an animation? Silver Edge breaks it, so I would actually look to probably get a Silver Edge on the Juggernaut. That's a build I probably would have preferred over the Battle Fury, because it is an item that's really good for the anti-mage.
All right, Resolution gets gone upon there. There's the Burrow Strike. Doom dropped as well. They're trying to get in with the IO to disable him, but no way that's going to happen. They do pull back in one now. This is the Juggernaut pulling him to the Shrine. They also drop the rock, trying to take the fight without Resolution. Not sure if it's going to end up working out for them. They're all Fatal Bond stuff. They are going to end up falling. Moon Meander, the sole one left alive in the midst of this fight, getting chased down, right-clicked as well, and they don't have vision. Okay, they are going to be able to get him now. There's the Burrow Strike kill. Well played by VGJ.
Man, they just got caught with their pants down. They were not really expecting a gank onto anti-mage like that. If they were, they would have just been sitting behind with a Wisp. And that is going to be a swift turn of events as Roshan will be slain immediately after by VGJ. So anti-mage, yeah, the plan of waiting out for the Scepter, not really going to work out for them at this point, and things have slowed down perhaps too much to the point for them to be comfortable with. They aren't able to dictate any fights of their own because their 5-on-5 is not as strong. Their lineup is based on getting anti-mage farm and getting a lot of pickoffs with the Bat Rider, but because they're 5-man, you can't get pickoffs with the Bat Rider, and because anti-mage died there, you can't really keep waiting for more and more items.
Now thinking about it as well, with the Storm Spirit having the Aegis up and online, this is a hero that benefits from it more than anybody else in the game.
That. 3 minutes ago, he didn't have Bloodstone. Now he has 15 charges and an Aegis.
God. Well,
and look at Doom's net worth. Doom's net worth is really high on the board. It's very close to an anti-mage who's been farming for 20 minutes.
I mean, we do talk about the backup plan of the anti-mage. Is that something that they can rely upon in this game? Or, well, I'll have to hold that thought. Misery runs into Freeze. They're going to be able to pull him back in right at the start, trying to find the kill. Echo Saber, everything thrown out. They are going to be able to burn that Aegis. Blink away again at the last second. They're trying to run out of here, though. They do not want to take the rest of this fight. They pull back in Tiny. Weehaw in trouble. Fatal Bonds still on all of these heroes. They've been able to take down Soxley with the damage from a Misery also to fall. They end up killing off 3. Fatal Bonds, pretty good spell.
Very good indeed, and they just could not get that out cleanly. Freeze knowing that his team is going to be around him. It's fairly close to the Shrine and that T2 tower, and they could just not get away scot-free for that. So, anti-mage, very close. Actually, he does have a Scepter now, so maybe they can do stuff with it now. I don't know. I've talked up the Scepter a lot, and I thought it was going to be really good, but it just seems like they've just lost so much momentum in the past few minutes that I'm not
very certain about how great it's going to be for them.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. You were saying that they need to fight around having the scepter, and they've taken the last basically 3 engagements without it. Granted, some of those were from great smokes coming out from Vici, but it does feel as if there's sort of been this problem with the timing, and now Vici have gotten so much more out of it that these 3 farmed cores are going to be a huge problem. And Shadowblade going to be up soonish on the Doom as well, I believe.
Looks like he's going BKB.
Oh, he switched it up. I think he had it in his quick buy before, but okay. Went back for that one instead.
BKB mitigates so much of their damage. An anti-mage might have damage issues versus that because his build is not very good at just pure right-clicking when you don't have the mana break.
And you look at those net worth graphs as well that just came up on the screen. Just tremendous swing of events. And I'm kind of wondering at this point for DC, has the game plan really changed at all? Can you still go for the pickoffs? Do you need to just keep on farming on anti-mage?
I think they just have to be more ready for the fights. Like, they were not ready for that mid-fight for Rezo to just die like that with a Doom. And if they could have gotten a relocate out, then it would have been a completely different story, but they just weren't prepared for that. Sucks is stuck. Poor guy. Stuck on the cliff.
Uh-oh. You guys can see him there in the mini-map.
He's like, come back, we.
They're going to be able to get that tether away now. But in the meantime, Moon Meander, still that great form of initiation. We haven't seen any Lincoln Spheres come out as of yet. And it looks like Tiny also going to be able to finish off an Aghanim Scepter. So he will be able to catch up a little bit to the other cores that have surpassed him slightly.
Yeah, now they're forced to 5-man now, but their lineup is not that great for 5-man. But they have to play Vici's game now because of how the last 5 minutes have gone down.
Still waiting for what could be a huge anti-mage ulti as well. Do you think that that cooldown reduction of that is worth it in this game?
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the anti-mage get level 25 to the point where that talent would have mattered.
And I guess the other question of like the 25 agi, sort of an interesting way to look at it. Yeah.
The 20-second mana void is also pretty good.
Freeze. Is he going to stick around? Moon is there. They jump. They don't catch him. Nice jump away, but they have been able to find him the second time around. Rock drop, though. There is going to be a good Fatal Bonds coming out, possibly. Omni Slash goes down now onto the Wisp. Starting to drop low. Is going to fall to that one. Doom onto Weeha. No way out as his buddy, the Io, has already gone away. And DC says, we need to get out of here, Mel, but there's a problem. They managed to find Misery, and he's going to expend his whole mana pool to try and escape from this. Does have the Blink Dagger as well.
Not great for them, but they almost actually got out. Io tried to use his relocate, but he got burned down by the Infernal Blade on the Doom. And if they had done that, they would have traded one person for a Storm's life, and it would have just been the Wisp. So that was close to being pretty good for them.
I mean, still mitigating those Bloodstone charges now down to 11 is huge.
Yeah. He has Orchid now, so now Wisp is in a lot of trouble. No Ghost Scepter, no Greaves to really deal with it. No Glimmer even.
You need to go for that Pili Die Jungle Wisp to get those items up. That would have been the dream.
Iron Talon.
But in the meantime, it does look like the Sand King also going to be going back for a Force Staff himself. We've got the Manta Style up on Jug. They're sort of hitting this next tier of items that's going to enable them to take the fight even more effectively. And on the side of DC, you see like the Aghanim Scepter picked up for the Tiny. It feels like they're more invested to trying to take this to the later stages.
Yeah, you mentioned that they had, like Vici has reached the next tier. TC has not. They still need the BKB up on the Tiny, 1,500, 2,000 gold. Like, yeah, you can still get Doom, but Infernal Blades does a ton of damage to strength heroes like Tiny. The Sand King also does a lot of damage to heroes like Tiny, so he still needs that magic immunity despite the Wisp being in the game.
Oh, and they're baiting mid right now. It looks like they're going to go for a 2-person smoke with Misery and Moon with a relocate available, as well as Anti-Mage in the area. But as for now, Vici Gaming playing this very, very safe. Oh, Moon walking through. Freeze is there. They pull back in onto the Doom. My goodness. The counterplay is tremendous. And now Io and Tiny here as well. Can they turn this fight around? FY dropped low, but the Omni Slash, the turnaround. Well, the Fatal Bonds do a lot of damage in that one. The Bat Rider and Io are already gone. Rubik did steal Omni Slash. They need to turn it back against them. It looks like their eyes are on Weeha, though. They've taken him down now, and Well, resolution, he just needs to keep on farming away. Misery will be able to escape.
Gem has been lost. Wow, Freeze was so fast with that, as well as ROTK. I think they both just jumped the Batrider as soon as he tried to get that jump. And he was not able to move at all. I think that he needs a BKB as well. He actually invested into the BOTs before going for the BKB.
Looks like the gem was still there on the ground. Not sure.
They pinged it out.
Okay, they
definitely know.
That would have been most inopportune had that been left on the ground there. But yeah, the sort of Vici J train keeps on rolling, and on an elimination game here, DC, scary. I mean, do you still feel like they have the way back into this one right now?
If they get clean jumps, but Vici are always prepared for these fights, whereas DC, sometimes they only have 4, sometimes they just lose a hero at the start, sometimes the Wisp dies before they can relocate out. Like, they aren't able to get the ideal fight that they wanted because of, like, Stormspear is just naturally a very chaotic hero, being able to kind of zip into any position of the fight and instantly eliminate supports once he gets to this stage in the game. So it's just, I don't think it's really ever going to be a clean fight for DC. But they have weathered the ages. They have managed to keep Storm from snowballing out of control. His net worth is, you know, kind of like 60% of AM's right now. So AM still kind of the big bad boy in this game. He does need that butterfly ASAP. And then, like, eventually he's going to be able to solo kill people with the Abyssal and the Butterfly. Even a hero like Juggernaut, I would say, especially with the Battle Fury build.
And thinking about it, too, you know, we have the Aghanim Scepter there for Warlock, just further accentuating that team fight potential that they've got. It feels to me as if Vici J are comfortable going into the late stages against them. They're not really heavily prioritizing pushing out any of, or rather pushing down the towers. They're just pushing out the lanes and making sure they don't get split pushed by AM.
And I think they are comfortable because of the recent changes to Doom. Like, Doom, his net worth is still going to be incredibly high and will continue to rise at a dramatic pace for the entirety of the game because of him getting, what, like, extra 100 and... How much gold did he even get? 160 every 40 seconds just from Devour alone? Oh. 180, actually.
Scary stuff here. Moon in his own jungle, but Vici J are here as well, and Freeze going to jump forward, blink away by Moon, trying to escape Force Step as well. He's out of here, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to make the full escape. He sort of sits there, accepts his fate. It's a heavy rotation for the Batrider, but I think well worth it.
He didn't have Firefly up. A little sad for him.
In the meantime, Io is just going to TP back out and away. It looks like Weeha is going to do the same.
That's a completed Butterfly flying out to Reza right now.
BKB is also there. It looks like the Scotty almost complete. I think it's only about 60 gold away from that for the Juggernaut. So, just
more mana and a mana void.
There you go. That's the upside for DC. I mean, there's a bunch of really good mana void targets in this game.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, I wonder if someone's going to pick up Lincolns to try and deal with that. Yeah, he is getting Lincolns.
I do sort of wonder if that's going to be something that we see picked up there for the AM, or if he just wants to go for the straight up, you know, split push, max agility. Because that's something that this lineup does do well from DC. Like, I always say, you can never count out an IO Tiny in the late game, being able to go for, like, relocate plays to push down lanes and take down the tier 3 towers.
Oh, yeah, they still definitely have a chance. I think that we might have scaling issues, though, because I think he's constantly getting doomed to the fights. So he needs to be able to contest a Jug and a team fight by being able to stand there and dish out damage. But I don't think he's that farmed yet. And also, I think Doom's level 25 talents is also really, really good. Plus 2% Infernal Blade damage is absurd.
Yeah, of course, based upon the max HP of the target as well. So it's just ridiculous amount of mana.
And usually when you get level 25, BKBs are really low. So you'll have a ton of Infernal Blade uptime.
All right, well, this is the play if there was one to make. Roshan is going down, but it looks like Weeha going to be able to hit away at this tower. Just look at the DPS that comes out. They are going to pop the glyph, and Weeha will back out. FY gets the stun. Turn it back around, though. A lot of damage being dealt. Steals away. Actually, it was Epicenter. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was Epicenter.
All right, but there's the relocate out and away. So Rubik might be making some earthquakes in a little bit here. Finishes off the 4-step.
Oh, he's trying to TP out. Does he get it?
No, not quite.
He tried for it. That's very difficult, but you're going to be dead for a minute anyways. Might as well try.
But that's the play right there. That's the thing they need to keep on doing. Dealing some of the damage to the Tier 3 tower. Is that sort of something that they can replicate over and over again, or is it just because of Roche that was being taken that they're able to do it?
It's something that you can replicate over and over again. I think the more main concern is like, what are you actually getting in the meantime? You'll get a little bit of damage on the tower, but you're also trying to buy time for AM. But AM's approaching 6 slots right now. Once he completes his Abyssal, he's 6 slotted. You don't really want to sell Mantle. You don't really want to sell Battle Fury. You're definitely not gonna sell your Abyssal. So what do you actually go for as your 5th, 6 items? I guess maybe like Moonshard and BOTs, but like you're buying time, but Anti-Mage is done farming, so you have to fight soon.
Yeah, and like you can think about things like going for a backpack play where you take out your Battle Fury whenever they're not hitting creeps, but even that, it's sort of, I don't know if there's an item that gives you everything else that you want out of that.
I wonder if you can actually go for like a no boots build with the minus blink cooldown. Oh wait, he doesn't have the minus blink cooldown. Actually, he has minus 1 second at level 15. So, I don't know.
It doesn't feel great.
But you might have to do it though, because you might need the damage. It's not like Weaver where you have innately high move speed. Blink's a much different beast than like 550 with Chikuchi.
Yeah, and I guess that just comes back to, again, the big problem, which is you have all of these incredibly farm cores on Vici J that are been able to get what they wanted. Again, the pressure is going to come along the top lanes. You've got that Abyssal Blade finished off, but it looks like Vici J is making this movement in towards mid, and well, they need to respond to this, though. Oh, Freeze? He goes in deep for this. They throw out an Avalanche, and they've been able to control up Weeha in some trouble. Iowa's there, and there's the relocate out.
Buying more time. Is Wiz going to get the TP out? Let's see him try. 3, 2, ooh.
No.
Oh. A little bit too early. That timing is one of the most difficult timings in the game to get.
Definitely a tough one. But again, just keep away, push down the bottom lane now. Vici J do seem to be realizing that this is the continuous thing that's happening, though, and they're going to bring the Juggernaut to the bottom, as well as Fenrir. He's just outside of range of that Observer Ward, though. Yeah, they're going to spot him out now, and this should be a pretty quick and easy kill. That being said, Aggressive is here as well. Resolution thinking about going back in on this now. Weeha's there. Avalanche toss combo. They have the epicenter as well, but Vici J taking a lot of damage, and it does look like with the Resolution hero here, it's going to be enough to find the kill. So 3 go down for Vici J, and they have a creep wave.
Yep, Anti-Mage is strong.
No buybacks.
6 slotted.
They have it on Jug.
They took a fight not 5-on-5 there. Storm and Doom make up a bulk of their net worth, and I'm not exactly sure why they were perched down there, but this Rax is gone.
This is a huge comeback now. Freeze is going to jump in. Well, BKB pop from RTK trying to turn on to this one. Freeze taking a lot of damage. That's the Aegis gone. And now also, Aggressive. He's back in the fight. Goes for the Blade Fury. A lot of damage being dealt out. Freeze is trying to do what he can, but actually ends up reflecting one of the skills onto him. So Resolution barely left alive here, and they take down a Rax. Maybe going to look for more. They take down the Tier 2.
I think Anti-Mage is a little bit too low. He doesn't have a heart yet. That would be nice to have in your backpack right now, a heart. Swap it out for Battle Fury, I'd say.
Well, you can never count them out. Just like that. DC pull a fast one and end up winning a fight in that bottom lane, take a lane of barracks. How much does that change the complexion of this game now?
I think it just opens up a lot more opportunities for relocates or sneaky backdoors by the Tiny. And still, it's not the worst thing for them because Anti-Mage is super, super fat right now, but he's not getting any more items. But it's still not good that they weren't able to do anything with that Aegis.
Oh, Hastrun on Moon. This would be a huge pickup if you can find somebody in it. Looks like he's going over here to the side, jumps in, pulls in the Juggernaut. He's going to pull him back in very quick. The rock drops. Is it going to be enough, though? They're trying to take him down. The damage is going to be there. Aggressive goes down. That's no buyback. 2 minutes gone. DC have pulled themselves out from the bottom, and now they're here. My goodness.
Yep, finally fighting together as 5, and Doom, what happened with, oh yeah, he did Doom Resolution, but he just kind of shrugged it off and kept right-clicking.
All right, Epicenter, Burrow Strike coming through. They want to take this. They're on the back lines with Freeze, able to take down one. Now looking for another. Can they kill off the IO? Able to get Force Staff to the low ground. He's so low, but will be able to survive through it. And now Rezo, they throw out a stun onto ROTK. Chase continues. Moon, Ghost Scepter. Oh, the plays. He's able to get out and away, and now Freeze in trouble. He might end up going down. Can Rezo do it? They end up Burrow Striking back the other direction. There's a little reflection for you as well. And now FY maybe in some trouble. Can they bring him down? Moon jumps back in with nothing. The hoof stomp, that is going to be a kill. And now Rezo thinking about going for more. Can't have vision onto FY. Has he gone too deeper? Is he just getting started? Oh my God, 4 dead, and Rezo, well, breaks it. Doom now down onto Anti-Mage. He might be in trouble now. They pull him back in with Freeze, trying to right-click him to death. Can he kill off anybody? It doesn't look like it's going to happen. 5 go down for DC.
Oof, and they didn't get that melee Rex. Gem still kind of sitting over there. Bet they wish they had that a little bit more. Moon going for the super risky play. Last week someone had like, what, 200, 300 HP. They did get that +1, but Storm's revive is still quite low because of his massive amount of Bloodstone charges. He has 14 after dying.
My goodness. So somehow, some way, even though there was this tremendous net worth lead by Vici J, DC were able to pull it back in, and now they stand with the full lane of racks down, the tier 3 down in the mid lane. I'm kind of wondering, what's the play now for Vici J in your mind? Is there anything in particular they need to do, or do they just try and keep with the status quo, sort of?
Find a way to deal with the Anti-Mage. One of the best counters I actually like to the Anti-Mage Scepter is getting a Yules. So like you can, like if you want to defensively Yules, you just cast it on the Anti-Mage, and you get rid of 2 birds with 1 stone. And he is very tanky. He does have an AC and a Shiva's, and doesn't look like that amount of armor is going to save him for that much longer, or is it?
Aggressive. He's shown up as well. They relocate out of that one.
Okay, that Healing Ward. Healing Ward plus what? I don't even know how much armor this Doom has.
Oh, God.
33 armor.
Ooh, Freeze. I guess he didn't quite catch eyes there onto Misery, but Misery will be able to escape. Looked like he stole Devour as well, so a nice way for the Rubik to catch up a little bit in terms of his amount of farm.
So sad he doesn't get the talent, though.
That'd be the dream.
So sad.
I mean, he has his own little talent, the 60 gold. There you go. That's not a lot, right?
I mean, he gets 80 gold every Devour. You'd much rather have. That's effectively almost 120 GPM. Twice as good, nearly.
Now DC now back towards the next shrine, and with this, possibly setting up for a good Roche take by them. It's still about a minute and a bit away from being up, but do you feel like one team has a little bit better ability to take that Roche on at this stage of the game?
Not really.
No.
It's very tight. Storm Spirit, as we saw in one of the previous fights, can just destroy those 2 supports if you get vision of them. So, like if you have better vision around the pit, Storm can go to town. But if like he gets jumped with an Abyssal or I don't know anything else, like Blink Force Staff in a lasso and just dies right there, and then the fight could be potentially very, very bad for Vici. And we saw like Juggernaut also is quite vulnerable in this situation. Juggernaut's normally a hero that you don't think you can die with this late in the game if you're jumped on first, especially with a rock behind you. But spin can only take you so far.
Well, aggressive. I mean, it's been a long time since he's gotten another one of those items. Building back towards the battle, or butterfly now. So I guess the big thing that you might need to think about eventually for an AM is going for something like an MKB. Oh, God, they found the IO, and this should be a pretty quick and easy kill for them. No great way to get out of that one. But no MKBs really online yet.
I don't think he can spare it.
I mean, is there some way that you can maybe go for like a Bloodthorn or something on one of these heroes to try and deal with that?
Maybe the Tiny. That's a big maybe, because generally AC is just way better. I think you just have to deal with it. Just deal with it.
Oh, scary moment there for Fenrir, and looks like we're going to have a short little pause as Resolution is disconnected.
That would have been a free Warlock kill for them. I think if I wasn't looking at his positioning before the disconnect, but I find it hard pressed to believe that Moon Meander would lasso someone without really having a way to kill them.
Well, looks like we're just going to have a little bit of that pause. Yeah, and I guess the Glimmer came out in time as well, which was enough to get them from going in on it. But yeah, current state of the game again, just to put it all into context. For a long time, it was Vici J that were able to lead the way and basically dictate how the game was going to look. DC, they find a team fight where it wasn't the full 5-man that came in. They take down 3, and then they take down Elena Barracks. Do you think that Vici J can sort of establish that dominance again, or is the loss of those racks and the comeback and the now dominance of Resolution too much for them to really determine their outcome at this stage?
I think ages and cheese matters a lot here. I think if they get ages and cheese and get 25 charges up on the Storm Spirit again, then they can still do a lot of work. But if he's down in that 10, 15 Bloodstone charge range where he's going to have to buy it back every time he dies in a major team fight, then Vici could easily lose.
Found one, in some trouble. Rezo pulled back in. They got the rest of the team here, though. Omni Slash hasn't going to end up coming out as of yet, doing a ton of damage. And looks like Moon with the BKB should just be able to back out and away from this one. Also, Weeha now getting controlled. Nice force staff. The Doom is still there as well. They get the stun on it, too. ROTK ends up refreshing. Wants to go back in. They do have another Doom if they want to use it, but saving it for the moment. Misery is going to fall. It looks like they were able to relocate out Weeha in the midst of all of that. Now, maybe thinking about going in. No, okay. I didn't think that AM was ever going to jump into that one.
Doom is just so fat, though. Like, his net worth is just ridiculous for a Doom. And I think this is why Doom, he can be really good and competitive. You just have so much gold to work around with. And it doesn't matter if you keep dying, you just keep devouring. Devouring is not like you really need to be in any dangerous position, but he has all the items that he needs to just crush these team fights. That Blink, Hoof Stomp, Doom on one. If Anti-Mage went in, he would have gotten doomed as well. Like, it's kind of crazy how much impact you can have.
Yeah.
It's like the new Alchemist.
And I'm wondering, does he have that level 25 yet where did he go for the 2%?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
The 2% is, I think, way better than the Devouring Ancient. It doesn't sound like that much, but it's every tick. So
well,
7%
because it's also added onto it as well. That's the other thing. It's just so much freaking damage.
And if you have a Veil, oh my goodness, it's really good. Even versus an Anti-Mage who has Spell Shield, I still think the Infernal Blade is way better.
Well, maybe eventually he can also go back for that Silver Edge that you were talking about earlier, break the Aghanims.
Yeah, I don't know if he can have that. He doesn't have enough room.
Backpack, that's what it's all for. Freeze? Okay, I thought he was going in on somebody there, but just clearing out the creep waves, keeping these lanes pushed out. It's still, they found one. This could be a big problem now. Juggernaut controlled and going to be brought down. That's the Aegis, and same place where that team fight happened before. It might end up going the other way as Freeze is going to jump in from far away onto the IO. Weeha's still hitting away. They drop the rock there on several. The Tiny is doomed, but able to hit away at ROTK, and the Omni Slash is out as well. Well, the rest of DC needs to get the heck out of Dodge. Resolution chased. Can they find the kill? The Burrow Strike actually ends up pushing him a little bit further back, but that means that they lose sight on him. Misery, well, no TP scroll as of yet. Looks like he is possibly going to be able to get out of this one. They've got Iasm down there on the bottom, but Resolution will be able to blink away. But Freeze, did kill off Misery there.
That's a lot of Bloodstone charges, getting free kills on these supports over and over. And also, an unusual talent pickup, I think, for the Doom is 35 Doom DPS over the 25 health regen. 25 health regen is a ton, but it seems like he's tanking enough and wants to actually be able to kill people with the Doom. And Doom is pure damage, so, kind of having a little bit of extra value versus that Anti-Mage.
You can also see here that Moon Meander pushing out the top lane will at least force ROTK back to come and deal with this as bottom lane. I mean, do you think that Vici J could try and pressure for high ground at some point soon?
It's risky. Their base is so exposed and they have relocate in that if you lose a fight, you can just lose the game in 50 seconds.
You can also see.
So he's had these same items minus the Moonshot for like the last 20, 25 minutes. 20 minutes, I would want to say. So it's kind of getting scary that he's just not able to incrementally do more damage as time progresses.
Oh, and there is a refresher for Fenrir. His play in the games that we saw the other day against Liquid, there are a lot of moments where it felt like he wasn't able to get the most out of those Warlock ultis. This time around, it's been a much different story, and I think now with this refresher online, DC, it's rough.
Sand King's going for the Silver Edge.
Okay.
He has the Shadow Blade as an inventory. That's He might have to think about selling his selling a scepter for. What do you sell it for? If you get BKB, you'll just get doomed every time.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Lincoln's? Is that?
Lincoln's is strictly worse.
Yeah.
Than Scepter.
It's not even any better.
No, it's longer cooldown and it doesn't reflect.
But you couldn't do both of them at the same time either because he needs the extra damage too.
Yeah, I think what you really need is actually Lotus for your anti-mage.
So like Io or Rubik there.
Yeah, you just need more farm up on your team, but it's not like what did Wisp go for? Wisp. Oh, I was like, oh man, he didn't go for the GPM talent. The problem is he's not even level 20. He's not. He's level 17. He doesn't even have the option of the GPM talent. So sad.
That's a rough
so
life.
sad.
That IO. I mean, you see though, like Resolution, incredibly farmed, 40,000 net worth. But if they do have all of these items, like an entire hero dedicated to shutting them down, and then another hero that's getting items that the hero that shuts them down can't even get yet, like they're all in on just killing them. And I don't know, it's feeling really tough at this stage of the game.
Yeah. It is. I think Doom should actually maybe go for Octarine instead of the AC. You Octarine lifesteal off of the Infernal Blade damage. So it also reduces Doom cooldown and Refresher Orb cooldown, obviously. But I think you get a lot of mileage out of healing from the Scorched Earth damage, healing from the Infernal Blade damage, and even having reduced cooldown on the Centaur War Stomp is really good. And Shiva's and BKB, it's just great.
God, and you know what else we've got here also is the Bloodthorn finished on the Storm Spirit. It looked like also the Anti-Mage was going to build one up as well, but still a ways away from actually completing that as he has in his quick buy. I guess eventually that idea of taking out the Battle Fury maybe, or just getting rid of his boots is the other option.
Yeah. I think it's a way for him to kill the Storm. You blink, you Bloodthorn, you Abyssal him and kill him, or you Abyssal Bloodthorn, but usually you would rely on the Abyssal to lock him down.
Oh, Resolution going for a little bit of backdoor there, and this is going to work fairly well, I would imagine. This does mean that top lane they're going to still lose out.
One thing DC is really good at is knowing when to hit buildings. They know they're not strong enough. They're not going to try and sneakily smoke around and approach them and kill the Warlock or something like that. They're going to go for buildings and hit buildings because that's how you win the game. You take down the enemy's Ancient. And DC, I think, would do that far better than a lot of other teams.
Now, you've got two very experienced captains in this one, of course. Misery, ROTK, and it's great to see this type of battle come out now.
Okay, what do you sell?
BKB for the Juggernaut also?
He did sell his Battle Fury
okay.
for the... He did sell his Battle Fury for the Bloodthorn like you were talking about.
Man. So, real late game. It does sort of hurt their ability to push out waves, but I guess that's what the IO Tiny's job is going to become now, is sort of doing what the Anti-Mage was.
He can't even show that much anyways because he has to worry about dying right now.
Oh my god. This is a scary moment. They're there. Misery, no way to help out his IO. And thankfully he had an invis there. Otherwise that definitely would have gone bad.
No room for Gem. Rich people problems. Does he have Silver Edge yet? I saw his gold was only at 520. Silver Edge.
Oh, mid lane. They've got Resolution possibly. Freeze looking for it, but couldn't quite catch. Hasterin still there on FY. Resolution. You got to be careful here, mister. There's the blink away, though. Okay. He just takes camps too fast anyways.
Yeah, they could set up, though. Burrow Strike to pop the Ags and then go for a Storm Spirit zip into pull.
Okay,
maybe.
Creeps going up to high ground. You also have creeps in the bottom lane right now.
See, DC have the upper edge in this because they're like already at the base thinking about throning them if they try and go for a play in mid. And Rezo might get caught by FY over here.
You have Moon in the area as well. They're TPing onto the Shadow Blade and Resolution. They don't quite get him. Oh my goodness. Rezo not within vision, blinking away, just barely staying outside. Freeze is there, but he's got him. All right, there's the jump away. Broke the Lincolns and also stunned.
That Bloodthorn pickup actually just saved him right there so hard.
Yeah.
Nice try, though, by Vici. FY is trying to make the plays, too. It's a pretty difficult position in this situation. 55 minutes into the sinking, you still need to try and make plays, but he's doing his darn best. Smoke coming in from DC.
They're feeling all in on this one, trying to find him. They've got Doom right at the start. Pops the refresher in the BKB. They get a huge rock. Are they going to get a second one? It looks like it might come out still stunned in silence. They're not going to be able to bring him down as of yet. There it is. A ton of damage onto DC. Rubik and Wisp gone. They bought back on the Doom. Wants to take him there. Aggressive. Too much of a man. Weehaw going to fall as well. Oh no, Moon Meander, is he going to get out the pull? They got him. A huge pickup as all of DC drop. Triple for Freeze.
It's really difficult to go on the Doom there. And Doom did manage to get all his spells off his BKB refresher, and most important of all, Doom the anti-mage.
Wow. God, and you understand needing to go for the Bloodthorn to have the damage for AM, but like being able to BKB out of it just mitigates all of those things. And here come the buybacks. DC are going to need them in mass as bottom lane is pushing in. Maybe there's a relocate play there potentially, but it seems rough. And Vici J just cool as a cucumber. They're going to back out of here.
That's really smart of them to buy out on 3 and not the anti-mage. Anti-mage is the most important. So they actually deemed that like 2 of them, I would say, they could probably buy out with like AM +1, they would have backed out, but 3 of them I would say is actually less important than anti-mage's buyback. So that's a very difficult call to make that you kind of have to decide when everyone's dead. So you don't buy back 4 heroes and potentially lose the game because anti-mage dies. So they get another lifeline because of this.
Okay, no refreshers right now. Ulti's still on cooldown for about 50 seconds. Is this something where DC have to make a move here?
Well, they don't have buyback.
Yeah.
So a bad move is the game.
Okay.
But at the same time, as you mentioned, if you wait, you're going to have a refresher orb on Doom again. But Doom doesn't have buyback. And as we saw, he is killable. Killable in quotation marks because he's not very easily killable. Oh, they don't have a gem? Oh, man. Having that ward up, like that, you could just lose the game simply because of Moon's sitting right on top of a reservoir right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess one plus side that you do have right now for DC is that Roche respawns really quickly here. You don't have Rock for another 35 seconds, and they should be able to take it within that time if they wanted to go for it. FY. All right, he picks up a regen rune. That might send some shivers down the spines of DC.
Yeah, they do not have a gem, nor do they have sentries right around the Roche pit. They are like, what on earth is going on? We can't see the Sand King. That could have been so much worse for them.
All right, well, there's the jump in. They found him. Resolution. He does still have buyback, and they need to take this fight in a tremendous way. Relocating. They're going to try and pull him back into this one, possibly. Moon Meander was able to control up 2 for the moment, but Rezo now back into it. There is no Weehaw in this fight as Moon gets caught down. Monster kill streak for Freeze. They have no answer for all of this damage. The rock drops onto the Wisp. 3 heroes dead, no buyback.
That's really sad for the anti-mage. Right now, he's just so weak relative to everyone else. The Storm Spirit, he BKB'd, he Bloodthorned him to pop the Ags, and he has a BKB to deal with it, and then he pulled them, and then they just killed him in the pool.
Well, here we go. Refresher down. It's time to go. Vici J. I mean, I think that this is pretty much it.
That's pretty
How
much
do you
it.
stop it? There's
You
nothing.
get Mega'd and hope, and you pray.
No. Yeah, they get the call. That's going to be the tier 4s. Anti-Mage can go in on this. They're going to need to play their little hearts out, but, well, they just drop a Golem onto Misery, and he is in a lot of trouble here. Trying to steal something, able to take the Burrow Strike. Resolution there as well. Fenrir dominating streak, though, and they've got him. Good game, well played, ends up getting called, and you can hear the adoration from the crowd as Vici J are going to take DC out of this tournament.
Very impressive draft, I would say. ROTK played like an absolute boss today. Glad we get to see more of him. A little bit of disappointment from DC. I think that fight near the T1 on top has to be the one that haunts him the most of any single fight this game. They had, 5,000-6,000 gold at the point before Anti-Mage got online. You continue that for another 5 minutes, Anti-Mage gets Aegis, Storm Spirit's poor for the rest of the game, you end the game once he gets like Butterfly on Anti-Mage. But that was not the way they wanted to go down. But you could see the potential of the draft, the potential of Anti-Mage, and the potential from DC.
Absolutely. Well, I do believe that in just a second we're going to be heading over to an interview, but it's got to be said, that's the man, the MVP in the match in a lot of ways. ROTK is the one that took it. And I believe that
I
we're
trust
going
you
to be
know
heading
that
over to
the
that.
applause is for you, ROTK, and for your team's great performance here. For the second game, honestly, looked like there's a lot of back and forth. You guys lost at Rack's bottom. Warlock died, and then 3 of your bros went down as well. It was a tough situation. I feel like your